Thank you. And I was talking with Line, and basically saying, hey, I know you've been in contact with Kirk. And her comment, I think, reflects the feeling. She said, yes, he's fantastic. And helping her in that transition. And I think we can all add that same feeling. Yes, he's fantastic. And we know, thank you, Jen, for making that possible.
I did my best.
And we would also just express our gratitude. And it's not only us expressing the gratitude, but it's the first presidency expressing the gratitude. And I would like to read to everybody here a letter that the first president sent to Kirk. So I'll go ahead and share that with all of you if it's okay. And it says, Dear Brother Draper, we express our appreciation and extend our congratulations at this time of your retirement. Your 27 years of employment represent a significant amount of time and effort in the service of others. Through your years of service working with the employment centers and other efforts to help people become self-reliant, you have used your talent and talents to help build the Lord's kingdom and provide for the poor and the needy. Thank you for the spirit in which you have approached these assignments. You have gained the respect and admiration of those who have worked with you, and you have been an example of one who goes about the Lord's work with commitment and professionalism. May the Lord continue to bless you as you enter this new season of your life. Sincerely yours, Russell M. Nelson, Dallin H. Oaks, Henry B. Eyring, the First Presidency.
So David, let me show, I don't know, can you guys see this?
Oh, nice.
This is the letter that David just read, and it's framed. And Kirk, I'll be putting this in the mail to you tomorrow.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, David.
Very nice.
Thank you. So now we would love to hear from both of you.
Thank you. So first off, for those of you who have not met Jan, we've been married almost 30 years. Our local claim to fame is that I first met Jan and her family as their home teacher. A few years later, we both went through unexpected divorces after long marriages. My home teacher at the time, who was my bishop and one of my best friends, suggested I talk with Jan to see how she dealt with divorce. So as Jan's former home teacher, I called her, made a date. We went to dinner and a movie, and I got to know her a lot better and ended up proposing to her at a Michael Bolton concert 6 months later. And as her former home teacher, solved both of our problems.
So can I just mention something here? I have to interject. So the really huge thing was that Jan came with 6 kids and no money. So this was quite an undertaking for Kirk.
And I didn't know about the 6 kids. They showed up at the wedding and I just, who are these kids? No, I didn't. But because I was her former home teacher, I've always thought that there should be a plaque in the foyer of the stake offices with my name and picture on it as the home teacher of the year. Now I'm still waiting on them to do that, but maybe one of these days. But Jan and I have a blended family of 8 children. 7 of them are married, 23 grandchildren, and we will have 2 great-grandchildren by the end of the summer. And I can honestly say I could not have done the past 30 years without her. And I love you. I do. So we're both looking forward to leaving in 3 months on our military relations mission to the naval station in Rota, Spain, as part of the Spain-Madrid mission. Too many of our friends are calling our mission an extended vacation mission because it takes us to a resort city in Spain. But now for my real retirement remarks. Thank you. 77 years ago.
What?
Oh, wrong speech.
Okay.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Wrong speech again, honey.
Try that one.
Isn't she great how she plays along with me? But this is the right one, so thanks for keeping me on true course. But 27 years ago last month, I stood with Jan and our family, ceremony decorated rock in front of over 400 Navy men and women at the Naval Station in San Diego and spoke about my 20 years in the Navy. During those retirement remarks, I recalled a few of my sea stories and mentioned the names of a few people who helped shape my military career. Patriots like Captain Herbert Zor, Chief Warrant Officer Jerry Terabrood, Commander Kay Crone. None of these names are people I would expect you to know. But today, here on this electronic rostrum, miles away from some of my big friends and associates, but close to each of you in my thoughts and prayers, I want to briefly mention the names of some men and women who helped shape my church career. Except for possibly Julie Poole and Terry Weaver, and a few of you, many of you will not recognize the names of these amazing servants of the Lord. Managers like Ron Buchanan, Mindy Gillespie, Sharon Worlton, Ballard Veeder, Benny Lilly, and so many others who paved the way for each of us to do what we do today. I will always be indebted to them and to all of you. Shortly after I was hired as an employment manager in 1994 at one of our annual all-hands meetings in Salt Lake City, we were at a dinner with Bishop H. David Burton, then the presiding bishop. Bishop Burton told a pact of church employees that we were not hired into church employment, but that we were divinely appointed to our positions. That was what a wonderful thing to say and to hear. And after all these years, I've come to believe what Bishop Burton had said, because I have felt the influence of the Lord in everything I have done. There is no way I could have experienced the successes and blessings I witnessed without being on the errand of the Lord. I'm just not that smart. Not so much a sea story, but an employment story. I remember when Julie Poole rolled out our first electronic employment program in the late 1990s. It was a DOS program. I think it was called EMPL, but it used fancy modems and allowed us to share job leads, networking contacts, and LDS-friendly employer information for the first time electronically throughout our service areas. Until then, we were actually mailing or calling out individual job leads to our candidates and mailing massive job lists to our leaders and employment specialists for them to post on meeting house bulletin boards to share those resources with their members. I remember shortly after being hired talking with someone at the employment center about the high-tech communication capabilities of the Navy while standing over a thermal paper fax machine, which at the time was our state-of-the-art way of communicating with each other back in the day. Boy, haven't times changed. During my 27 years in church employment, I started many of my remarks introducing myself and saying I was a retired Navy officer and loved serving my country, and that I would go back and do it again with only a few changes if I wasn't so old and chubby now. Also, I would say how much I love serving in the church and helping my brothers and sisters become self-reliant. These two opportunities, one, to serve my country, and two, to serve my Lord, have been some of the greatest highlights of my life. At the end of most naval retirement ceremonies, there is a time-honored tradition. It's called piping the sides. This is when sailors line up in two rows and the honoree walks between those two rows, saluting and being saluted while the boatswain mate of the watch pipes the departure of a shipmate ashore for the last time. This is what that sounds like, and you'll probably recognize it. Leaving you this afternoon reminds me of being piped ashore 27 years ago. So with that in mind, I want to conclude my remarks with a saying used often in Navy ceremonies that I wish to each of you, and that is fair winds and following seas. It has been an honor serving with each one of you and those that came before us. Each one of you has given me a precious gift of some wonderful memories that I will always cherish. I will miss each of you and so many others who are not here today. And I pray the Lord will continue to bless you and your families in all of your endeavors. Thank you. And I love you all. My best fan.
Well, I don't know if you really wanted me to take a few minutes, anything or not, David, but if you don't mind, can I just take a couple of minutes? Okay. So, just so you all know, I could count the times on one hand that I've seen my husband get emotional and feel like he's going to really cry. And this was one of those 4 times. So I know how significant this is to him. So, you know, we have kind of a unique story, you know, because of us both having gone through divorces and then, you know, come together. And I know that the Lord's hand was and has been very much a part of our union and raising our kids, all those kids and all those grandkids. And but when Kirk got this job a year after we were married, it felt so comfortable and wonderful to me. My father, I was raised by a father who worked for the church from the time I was 7 until I was 20. And so it was a comfortable thing for me. And as I've watched Kirk over the years, you know, take care of his responsibilities, I am sure that I have never known anybody that worked like Kirk did. He would get up in the middle of the night to take care of things. He would work into the night after being at the office all day. And I'm a little bit worried about him being retired because I don't know what he's going to be doing now that he doesn't.
I'm going to be your buddy.
So I'm very proud, very, very proud of him. And his efforts were always above and beyond. And he just set a standard for our family in so many ways. And I'm so thankful for that. And I'm grateful for the Lord taking care of us and being a part of our life on such a daily basis through his job and through his service. And I know that we're going to have a lot of fun together, whether we're serving our mission in Spain or, you know, just enjoying our family here in San Diego and other parts of the nation. So thank you for being good to him, for treating him so well. He never has cried after any meetings with all of you. So I think that this has been very much an incredibly powerful and wonderful experience for him. And I thank each of you for that.
Isn't she going to make a great missionary companion, President Mann, mission president?
Sounds absolutely marvelous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll want to go ahead and let Jan go, and
okay.
And we
Hey, Kirk,
continue.
Kirk,
yes.
Before you do that, this is Vaughn, and I just need to carry the home teaching thought a little bit further. Jan's father was our family home teacher. We grew up in the Latye 3rd Ward. It was quite a while ago, and he was a wonderful home teacher. And then later, Jan was she and her very young family, she and her husband at that time were my Sunday school teachers.
Oh, fun.
I mean, we were the old, like the 16-year-olds.
Uh-huh.
And just so many gospel seeds were planted and nourished. And it is just amazing to see how things come full circle. A year ago, I was looking forward to being able to host the Drapers, Jan and I guess they were going to come on a trip to Hawaii, and Kirk and I were planning on me hosting them for an evening in Laie and finding all the old friends and getting them all in one spot. But because of COVID, it never happened. And so, Kirk, by the time you reset that trip, I promise my driveway will be wheelchair accessible, and we'll get the gang together then.
Oh, thank you, Vaughn.
Thank you, Vaughn.
Vaughn once told me as a young child he would admire Jan from afar.
Not as a young child. Not as a young child, as a young man.
Okay, sorry.
But my love was chaste and virtuous, and I wished I could be one of the big boys.
And then I told Vaughn I was going to take him out back and take him to the woodshed if he talked like that anymore. So, love you, Vaughn.
Love you, Vaughn. We'll have to talk separately soon, okay?
All right.
Thank you, Jan. Muchas gracias. Éxito en the mission.
Sí, de nada. Adios.
Adios.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Kirk.